Hello, my name is Brittany Sullivan and I'm a student at Liberty University. For this discussion board, I'll be referring to a book known as Faith and the Founders of the American Republic, and even more specifically than that, I'll be focusing on chapter 13 of that book. The chapter in this book that I am focusing on is titled Isaac Baracus and John Leland, Baptist Contributions to Religious Liberty in the Founding Era. Within this chapter, the author gives backgrounds on both individuals, Isaac Baracus and John Leland, as well as referring to the impact that those of the Baptist denomination had on public and political views. Isaac Baracus and John Leland both were leading Baptist activists in religious liberty at the time. Both men were very vocal about their standings on religious liberty, and through their ideas and standings, they were able to lead those of the Baptist denomination, which in time contributed to the separation of church and state. A background on the Baptist denomination is that it had deep roots for those who chose to settle in this country, starting with what was known as the Particular Baptist in the year 1639. The Baptist denomination was split into several different groups of Baptists, such as the Particular Baptist, the General Sixth Principle Baptist, and the General Baptist. As time continued, the Great Awakening began to influence the colonies during the 1730s and the 1740s. As time changed, so did their way of worship and their focus. The Baptist community split, creating the Separate or New Light Baptist and the Particular or Regular Baptist. One of the major differences between the two forms of the Baptist denominations was that those who considered themselves to be a part of the Separate or New Light Baptist placed a greater emphasis on evangelism rather than defending the Calvinistic doctrine. This was the group that Isaac Baracus was a part of, while John Leland was considered to be a regular Baptist. Even with the differences between the two types of Baptist, much of the doctrine stayed the same. Even though Baracus and Leland were from two different forms of Baptist, they had the same goal in common. Baracus quoted a man named John Locke, saying that a church is a free and voluntary society. According to the author of the book Faith and the Founders of the American Republic, this means that there should be no government compulsion to attend or financially support a given church, and that there should be a separation between the two. Leland continued to fight by arguing that freedom against government intervention is one's religious choice, but according to the writing of Philip Hamburger, Leland never stated clearly his approach on the separation of church and state, even though some of the language that he used seemed to point in that direction. Both supported and argued that no church that chose to receive support from the government could be a true Christian church, due to the fact that government would belittle the faith and the church by placing a price on it. According to Stanley Greens, the churches were concerned with liberty of the individual religious concerns and the protection of the congregation from government encroachment, meaning the churches wanted religious freedom. These two men not only changed the view, but the outcome of the church and state relations. Baracus's barrier between church and state included a separation that government should not have a foothold on the church, but that religion should play a role in the public life, because according to Nicholas Miller's writing, Baracus sided with the thought that man must submit to some government in order to enjoy any liberty and security at all. Leland's view of the separation of church and state was a little different. He believed that church and state should be completely separated, so that it would not appear that the government favored Christianity over other religions.